Alrighty, welcome to HASSDISCUSSES. We got a special guest in the building, Kold-Blooded of Schema Posse and Bazz Mafia. Let's talk about Bazz Mafia real quick. So, I heard this line from Liberty City too. I won't stop killing, yeah, they call me the Rona, okay? So, I heard that. And I was already interested in doing the interview. But then that song kind of gave me further incentive. So, what's Bazz Mafia and how'd you get them to do a sequel to Liberty City with LiL XAV?
Well, it's Bass Mafia, but a lot of people had used with the two S's. And Bass Mafia is Mr. Cisco and his brother, and AOZ and myself. We go back even before Schema. So going into Schema Posse, we had linked back up. Like I pulled Cisco in. I was talking to Jay. Jay had already had AOZ up in Schema Posse already. And just Bass Mafia, man, we move in the shadows. If you do your history, you'll know that we've all been involved in a lot of crazy shit. That's kind of why we go by the whole mafia thing. Especially Mr. Cisco and Buddha Jones. They've produced for anybody that's anybody, especially Mr. Cisco. And that's Bass Mafia right there, man. I mean, and as far as Liberty City, that was just, Lil XAV, he's been working his ass off, and he's trying to get tracks in with everybody, and everybody liked what we did. The video was coming, and he wanted to do a part 2. And so, we all jumped on that Finestic Bass Mafia remix. I wish more people would do Bass Mafia remixes because I like remixes, bro. I was a big fan of remixes back in the days.
And nobody does that anymore. Or when they do it, it's like not good.
And I would love to see artists hopping on other people's songs when it's done good. You know what I'm saying, son?
I miss the remixes when there was like 11 people added to it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a boss. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of stuff right there.
Right, fucking A-Rap Money and Beamer, Benz, or Bentley and all that stuff.
Cause like I miss when people were less careful. And the mainstream was less careful. The mainstream used to be not really that careful, and then sort of, recently it's become too careful, and that's why I've been sort of flocking to the underground because there's so much room for experimentation. It's way more exciting,
Oh, definitely. And back in the days, all them labels was like in cahoots with another. So, they could feature like 20 artists on there and be able to pay for all the rights and all that. Or like you said, sometimes they just wouldn't care. If they got sued, they would just pay it or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously you've done a lot of high profile collaborations, Xavier Wolf, Suicide Boys, but you got one of them little discographies that's a real rabbit hole, just the audience really, I'd advise diving into Kold-Blooded's discography. It's a real rabbit hole, and I think his strengths are on collaborations. He did that Homecoming track. That's one of these insane posse cuts in general. Like it's like I don't know if Kill Station was in Schema, but like
no, that's a huge misconception. I'm glad
because I just don't think that's what I've always been thinking. Like,
well, okay, like the thing about Homecoming is you got so many misconceptions on how that song was made. Is it one song? Is it 3 songs? Bro, I've tried to comment myself on Genius and all that to try to clear it up. It was Little Peep's song first.
Okay.
He's the one, him and Jay Green was tossing the idea around for like a new posse cut. He had just moved to Cali. A whole bunch of people showed up at that famous Pasadena house, the one in the gym teacher video, the Jay Green video, or gym class. White Tee video was shot there. Yeah. A lot of shit. So a lot of us was over at that spot, Schema Posse, and people that knew Pete, knew Ghost, knew Jay. We was all coming through. So that's how you get Omen 13 over there. That's how you get like a lot of the GBC folks was over there. Even Triple X was over there because Craig Zen was over there. A lot of people were coming and going. Real crazy shit, man. And I show up one morning real early because I'll be early on my early smoke shit. I don't sleep a lot.
Yeah, feel you on that.
Jay Green and Pete say to pull up. We had already did we did 2 shows already at Schema Posse. We did Tucson and we did Oakland. And that's the first time I met Omen. So when I walk in, Omen and Kill Station are there smoking. And they're like, hey, I know this fool. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then people's like, oh shit, KB's here. Jay Green was staying in another part of the house. You know what I'm saying? And then they said he could fill in the last part on the song. That's why. And I was like, oh, bet. Like, we working on something. And people's telling me, let's get this posse cut going. So Kill Station was messing around on the piano. And he was talking about, do we got a sample? What do we start with? And I can't remember who came up with the sample. I don't want to take credit for that, but I was playing a lot of samples that day because I was showing folks who didn't know who I was. Like, I've given samples, like I found samples for a lot of different like producers.
Yeah. So
like, because almost every song I've ever done, if there's a sample, there's a high chance that I chose that sample.
Yeah. So
we're going through samples, and there's this one, and the challenge was who could make a better version of the beat. So it came down to Jay Green, Omen 13, and Kill Station.
Oh, snap.
So they all go to separate rooms, and they go to make this beat, and they all make a beat from the same sample. And when they come back, then we started like, okay, shit, who's on whose part? So like Peep and Kill, they did the first part, that real melodic intro.
Yeah.
And then Jay Green just comes in with it's like a remix. It's all crunked up. It's me, him, and Ghost.
Down to your motherfucking Jay Green don't give a. Yeah.
But of course, at the time, already on the come up, and I got to give my brother props because he was mainly producing back then, and his name was already starting to come up. But man, Omen 13's part come in, him, Brennan Savage, a little bit of Ghost in the back. Man, that song came together so crazy. We sat there, we couldn't even think of a name for the rest of the night. And by the time they were done mixing it, getting it ready to post it, blah, 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 it had already got to a point where a lot of people had to leave or do some shit, business, whatever. But we were going to shoot a video. And then Pete Pete, to be honest, he was like, oh, maybe tomorrow. But it didn't happen. Like, actually, there's a video that did come out. It's an old Omen video shot by Kill Station in the parking lot of that house. That video could have been the homecoming video just because it was the same night. Everybody was there. Yeah.
Dude, that is story, like man. One of the most, and I'm just proud that you told me that story because like I listen to that song a lot. Like as a producer, I'm trying to get into producing, and that's it's like when you watch one of them like really good long movies. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel when I would like listen to Homecoming. It's like this beautifully crafted. It's like watching like a Kubrick film. You know what I mean?
Nice. Yeah, no, that shit was epic, bro. I remember just listening to it over and over again. I think the shit shot up to like 100K before Pete took it down. And
why did he take it down?
Well, politics, man. I mean, Pete had a manager already. Things were moving fast. He was actually supposed to stay in Schema and tour with some of those other guys. And I guess the final decision was to leave the collective. And that was a big shocker, but there was never no beef. That's another misconception. There's never no beef. Ghost, man, that's a whole nother story. We might talk about that another day.
Yeah, I interviewed Nemesis, but I didn't. I was gonna bring it up in the interview, but then I just ultimately was more interested.
I respect that.
I was
one of the more vocal ones.
You're more vocal.
That. Well, me and Skull, as far as that whole like any kind of diss tracks, beefs, whatever, blah blah blah, like we try to stay away from that because the negative publicity. But at the same time, some shit just they talk in interviews and we don't get our chance to say our side. So,
Yeah, I read the
that
one.
Shit
but
gets annoying, bro.
I just like to talk about like the artists more, but the like when I was interviewing Nemesis, I was like asking a lot about like I was more interested in his filmmaking, honestly, because I was like
I saw that, yeah.
I was really interested in his filmmaking and his experiences doing that, because that's hella inspiring when like an artist does not just do one thing, they do hella other things. It's like seeing Sempra post his own visuals, because you went to film school. Like, it's like, oh,
Right.
that's why his visuals are so dope. You know what I'm saying? And you went
No,
toe to
yeah.
toe with Sempra on Wide Awake. Now that was crazy. Who produced that?
Um, man, Sempra.
Oh,
Wait, was it Listen Up or Wide Awake?
why the Wide Awake, the
I
one
think
where it's
we
just you
always get.
two.
Oh yeah. Sempra produced that where he sampled Envy,
Uh,
and yeah, man, that was our first song together. Aside from the Posse song, but I think the Posse song wasn't finished by the time we were done with that one.
that's
But
another one that's like, I respect that beat and the way that each verse flows into the next one, because that's the first Sempra song
yeah,
I
man.
heard, and that's just nuts, man. That song right there.
To be honest, I think a lot of people, I have this reputation where folks are like, "Oh, don't let KB go last." You know what I'm saying? And but I honestly, Sempra, he definitely made me want to work harder. I normally don't rap that fast. I mean, I can, but it's like it has to just be the right vibe, and Sempra set the fucking tone. So I just had to follow that shit up, man. Like, cause
Yeah,
I love that shit. That's my most favorite type of music. Like, I listen to Sempra a lot. I listen to a lot of fast rap, Bone Thugs, Twista, Tech Nine, all that stuff. So it's definitely my lane. I love that shit.
could Gangsta Pat be categorized as fast rapper now? Because he just does
Mm,
that every now and
well, a
then.
lot of the early stuff like that, they kind of had like a tongue twisting, like like kind of. That's kind of where the triplets come from when you speed it up.
Because
But
this is real historic. The way I'm looking at like what funk has taught me and how I've gotten into it is that it's real historic. It's real, like, you have to, what I've sort of said is that the mainstream is more concerned about numbers and the underground is more concerned about knowledge and quality.
right,
So like, you have, if you're listening to something, people respect you recognizing a sample as opposed to what number you get on a song. You know what I mean? If you actually talk
eh,
with someone in the underground, and that's what's so beautiful, is knowledge is more interesting. It's just like when I show Mo Murder and then 66.6 syllables to someone, you know,
yeah.
the weird like satisfaction on someone's face when I show them both of those songs, like, and the Islamic, there's just so much of a history. What like 90s Memphis album, like, sort of like, what old album from the 90s really was inspiring for you?
Well, anything. Well, see, man, damn near everything, man. But I'd say the biggest influential shit was the Ice Cube, Eazy-E, Bone Thugs, Wu Tang, Outkast, all the real pioneers. Like, I got into that shit at a real young age. That shit molded my whole career. Um,
Yeah.
I've made a lot of strides I was trying, like, early on. I was like at 11 years old, 12 years old. I was showing up at Bone Thug shows trying to like rap for him and shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's how deep that shit goes, bro. Like,
Yeah.
and so yeah, man, all that 90s shit influenced me, man. I still like lyrical shit, like, not necessarily super wordy like stuff, but I do like more storytelling, wordplay,
That's why I flocked
you
to
know.
Freddie Gibbs in the age of new mainstream music. That's why I flocked to Griselda and Freddie Gibbs when it comes to mainstream.
I feel that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Freddie Gibbs
Mr.
goes
Cisco,
nuts.
Mr. Cisco's always trying to, and the homie JF from Red Star, shout out Red Star, on 13 on it. Um, they be trying to put me on the Griselda and all that. It's cool. I like it. I guess I'm more of an old head. I prefer the motherfucking old school shit. And
Yeah.
when it comes to old school shit, I mean, I'm super biased when it comes to like Bone Thugs. I'm a super advocate for. They still haven't got their spot in the Hall of Fame yet, but once they do, then folks will
What do you think
realize,
about
like,
Public Enemy? I want to know your opinion on that.
oh well, yeah, Public Enemy. I mean, that's the beginning of like real deal in your face political rap. Like, you
Because
know what
I
I'm
love
saying?
that shit, because I always
Yeah.
make the punk and rap
Yes.
comparison. I love doing
Right.
that. But it's not
Right. Real.
fully. It's not fully an accurate comparison, but at times you can compare like a Dead Kennedys album to a Public Enemy album for sure.
Right. Shit, Public Enemy, like, I can't say that I sat there and like listened to all them as a kid, but when you hear their famous songs and and you know what they stand for, you know what I'm saying? Like that definitely goes into my influence as far as when you do have a platform, you should use it for positivity, most definitely. And if you're going to be enlightening minds and, you know what I'm saying, making them real, like think about shit, I mean, that could go a long way. But times have changed. I mean, they were in an era where there was still, you know, people really taking that serious. Now, a lot of people say you might be preachy. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
so
Some
you
people
see the
might.
Lil Baby thing. So he made that one song, The Bigger Picture,
Right.
but then he's like, no, no more. I'm gonna rap about the same shit again. It's like, dude,
Right. It
like, why don't
happened
you
to
just change
Waka
your whole?
Flocka. You know, it happened to Waka Flocka. They said he wasn't hip hop. And so he got real lyrical. He got on beat. He got on some boom bap type shit. And everybody was like, oh, this is wagging. It's like his career took a big dip after that. Like, it's
And now he's
crazy.
got a
People,
degree.
people are so fucking, yeah, right. Like he gives a fuck, right? You know what I'm saying?
Like, yeah, like, because he did get to that point where he was kind of like, all right, I'm just gonna do whatever I want, man. I made a couple hits back and then, and I got like a small fan base, kind of, you know. I'm like, that's, I mean, you can't blame him for that. I know a lot of artists locally in Delaware, because Delaware is a small music scene, who would kill for any of that amount of, you know, recognition or status. You know what I mean? But,
Right.
um, and I don't know. This is kind of like on a similar note, but you know, like Ace Hood.
Not really, man. I'm not a fan. I was
No,
never a
but
big.
so when he got dropped from the label, his wife made him her own plaques for him because the label wasn't giving him anymore because he was not signed to a label. So the wife like looked at DistroKid's dreams and made him a plaque like that. You know what I'm talking about? Like don't we all need a girl like that or something? You know what
Well,
I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But so you're real close with Infinity, right? Don't you know him?
Yeah. Infinity, real cool. He originally I got put on him by the homie Elijah Heaps. And Infinity, he was visiting Las Vegas, and I happened to be there because I'm always back and forth between Las Vegas and LA. And I just happened to be in Las Vegas, where I'm mostly based. And he came through, bought a shirt, we chopped it up, and he told me he was going to be doing like a podcast at some point. And here we are now. He finally got it off the ground, doing his thing. You know, shout out to him, shout out to you, Palm. Everybody's showing Schema Posse love right now because, you know, we got a lot of new shit. And if folks ain't with it now, they're gonna be sorry because I mean we ain't stopping. We got so much. We just been dropping previews, testing the waters. We got
Yeah,
a lot of
like
new
there's
members, a
always.
lot of new shit, a lot of hot shit, bro.
And this is a question I want to ask. Who of the new members has been the most exciting to work with of the new members that have come starting last year?
Oh man, that's always gonna go around in circles, all of them, because I mean the thing was is there was a time, you know, in the last 6 7 years where there was like over 50 members. You know what I'm saying? And some had worked together easily, some didn't. But going into this new age, we kind of have a new system on how like we're trying to make it fair. We're trying to make sure people don't feel left out or however, you know, because you can't decide who the fans like flock to. You know, if somebody has a hit, they got a hit. Like so we embrace that. You know, there's no time for jealousy or whatever. We're still working on our shit regardless. And a lot of us, we all got hits. We all got our own shit going. So yeah, man, everybody. I mean, working on the Phantom Hearts tape with Triloquist and T Rex and
That
Akatami,
was
and that was
nuts.
fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. You know what I'm saying? I've always wanted to step out the box. I love female artists. You know what I'm saying? I love, you know, working with them and had like singing or rapping. You know, we need more of that. A lot of people probably think that like, you know, that misogyny's still there, but it's not. It's just you gotta find somebody who's willing to work and not bring their personal stuff into a group setting and in a professional setting, and that goes for both, you know, male or female. You know, but yeah, it's been real fun working with everybody, man. As you see, I tried to work with almost everybody right off the bat.
Yeah.
Just kind of welcome them in, just trying to like share their stuff on my page because I want to do the most for them because I've been with Schema for a long time, and I know that when you're first coming in, if your song ain't hitting this, that, and you're too focused on it, you might get down on yourself, but that's not what it's about. You're part of a family now. We got you.
I
You know
feel
what I'm
like I've
saying?
asked a lot of people about how they've like joined Schema, but like it's mainly been because I've interviewed a lot more of the newer members, and um, I feel like if I were to ask anybody how did Schema start, I feel like you're a great person to ask because you've been there since the beginning. So like, what was it like just starting Schema? Was it real hesitant? Like, walk me through how it sort of started
Oh
up.
well, yeah, I probably would be the best person because I almost missed the boat, bro. Like on some real shit. Like, Jay didn't think I was serious enough. He thought I was too focused on. I was already working with like Cisco and like you said, Xavier Wolf, a lot of like Bones trying to like get features in. I mean, SoundCloud was just really starting to like, I was trying to work with a lot of old
Yeah.
Raider Clan. That's what led me to working with Jay Green. And I knew about Jay Green through 3-6 because I'm such a fan of 3-6, Koopsta, all the stuff he produced. Um, so yeah, I definitely jumped at the shot to work with Jay Green. And then, like I said, going to LA all the time, I would see Jay Green at the Sesh Hollow Waterboy shows. He'd be opening, and he brought out DJ Paul one night. It was amazing. It was fucking phenomenal, bro. And
And he brought
he
DJ Paul
literally,
to a No Jumper interview. That was dope.
right. That's what I'm saying. Jay Green been making moves since he was a youngster, bro. He's still young, bro. Like since real young, and like bro. So he straight up told me, "Hey, that track we did was dope. Who mixed it?" And I told him about Sko, Dylan Ross, bunch of people I've been working with. He was like, "Yo, if you want your music, like I'm finna start my own shit." He's like, "If you wanna, get up on this freaking like movement and change your life, holler at me." And then he dropped the roster, and you had AOZ and them and Woofy Wolf and a lot of the original, but I wasn't on it. And I was like, "Oh, I didn't make it." And he called me and he said, "I don't know, like, why don't you send me some more shit? And if you're down there," and I said, "Man, you tripping." I was like, get me in front of that motherfucking microphone. Get me on them beats. Fucking, we got this, bro. And I'm telling
Yeah.
you, like, the first 2 Posse tapes dropped, made a lot of fucking noise, and trust me, I was feeling it. Like, damn, like I ain't. But then, like he said, "Yo, we need you on this next one," and I'm like, "Bet." And he gave me my own track. Um, he gave me Breaking Loose, and Breaking Loose was me and Cisco's like intro to Schema, because by then I was already talking to Jay like on the daily,
Now
brought in
go back.
Mr. Cisco.
That's a good little summary, but we need to go back to Cisco because he's historic. He's a
Oh,
national monument of the underground. You know what I'm
yes.
saying? Like,
Him and DJ Smokey, shout out. Him, Relum, Big Los, shout out to all them brothers. Zayas, bro.
yeah.
Like, it was like Jay Green, Mr. Cisco, DJ Smokey, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them cats. And then what people think, like, Suicide Boys, Ghost Man, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's so annoying.
Yeah.
Like I showed my friends like I showed my friend a funk beat that I made, or I made or I showed them. I think I showed them just just funk music in general. Some of them beats I made, some of them other artists in Schema and Doom Shop, and they're like, "This sounds like Suicide Boys. It sounds like Ghost Man." And it's like, dude, like you know what I'm saying? You know the anger.
Yo, shout out Doom Shop. You know what I'm saying? They've been doing their thing for a hot minute too,
Doom
right
Shop's
alongside Schema.
insane.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all them. I don't know them like that personally. I know a few members. Shout out Menace. Shout out Killer C, DJ JT. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? We in the same boat. I know they hear the bullshit too. Oh, that sounds like something, man. Fuck all that, man. We got the catalog speaks for itself. The fucking, you know what I'm saying? Trace that shit back. Like,
I'm just saying it's people would assume that it sounds like that due to being uneducated about, the sound, the
yeah,
terminology. Not everybody has to be, but you know what I mean.
right.
It's like somebody saying a metal song sounds like a punk song, you know what I'm saying? But so when did you start making moves with Cisco and Buddha Jones, cuz they're related obviously. So I assume that was kind of at the same time.
Yeah, like, so obviously I was like, man, 2011, 2012, 2013, Raider Clan is bumping. The SoundCloud era is really kicking off. Like, a lot of dope music's coming out, new music. And like I said, I'm a huge fan of like old school shit. And I'm hearing this heavy Texas, Cleveland, Memphis sounds coming out of Raider Clan, you know what I'm saying? And then ASAP at the same time too, Odd Future, all that shit, all around the same time. And I wanted to know who's making those beats. that's, as a rapper, you know, I'm sitting there like, yo, this shit is fucking sick. Who's making those beats? Every other song, Cisco, 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 I'm like, okay, bet. That's the man to holler at. Come to find out he's in Detroit. I thought he was from Memphis. And man, it just goes from there, bro. Like, I started buying beats off him. He started sending me free beats. He started talking about, yo, I fuck with your shit. He's like, do a feature on my new tape. And I was like, yeah, let's go, bro. That was like probably one of the first, what I would say, like big features I did on SoundCloud. It was with like Cisco at the time. You know what I mean? Like, then Jay Green, then Dylan, you know, that stuff. But yeah, Cisco, ever since then, he brought me into Bazz Mafia, and we've been in that chat ever since, bro. We plan a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so when you started, like, because honestly, you know, because you had to find your sound, you found the beat selection on point, you probably nailed that down. But before then, you had to nail down your delivery, your pronunciation, and I think you can always attribute that to just the way you talk your whole life, but you do have a unique pronunciation of words, and that's why I love your music so much, the way you pronounce your vowels and stuff like that. Was that like inspired by someone, or did you kind of make that up, like the way you do that?
Man, the only thing I could really say is like I said, as far as like, it probably came from Outkast, Bone Thugs, any of those. Like, I used to, since a kid, listen to all that, write my own versions, try to rap or like look on LimeWire and all that for like instrumentals, that kind of shit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and just always try to be lyrical as like, you know, like some of those rappers, but try to be speedy like some of those rappers. You know, articulation is huge. You know, there's a lot of rappers who rap like super fast, but you can't really understand what they're saying.
That's why.
And then there's rappers like Tech-9, Twista, you know, that Twista shit you can understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's a huge influence.
Twista did that best on like the Slow Jams one, but he also has that one album that like, there's the 2004 album he dropped. That's my favorite, because I was hanging out with this one of the first people I ever interviewed, and he like showed me that or something. It was which album was that? I'll find it. It had like a blue cover. Kamikaze. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wait. Yeah, Kamikaze. That's the one. That's goated right there. And
that's when he was with Kanye West.
And he had T.I. on that. CeeLo. I miss CeeLo Green. Like, I want him back. I want him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's one of those same with T-Pain. Like, I just miss them. I don't know if
like
you care for them.
When you say, I do. I'm actually a huge collector of music, believe it or not. Huge. Like,
CDs
crazy.
Or vinyl?
Well, no, digital. But, like, because I used to bootleg and shit. Oh, you know, that's how I made money. Yeah. But I'm like a collector of rare shit. But, yeah, when it comes, you're saying like T-Pain and who else? What was it?
CeeLo Green.
CeeLo. Like, are you talking CeeLo Green? Or are you talking CeeLo Goody? Because, you know, CeeLo from Goody Mob, that's the rapper side of him. But CeeLo Green is when he started singing. So he's got that soulful.
Oh, you're educating me right now.
Yes.
You are. I'm looking I gotta write this down. CeeLo, what's his rapper name?
Goodie. Goody, as in Goody Mob, bro.
CeeLo Goody. All right, that's dope. I'm gonna have to check that out.
They used to roll with Outkast, their Dungeon family.
Yeah. You're heavily educating me right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So like, you don't have to go into specifics, but what do you mean you bootleg? Like, you just like sell someone like a blank?
Oh well, that's how I used to make money as a kid, bro. Like, I had homies that was like, you know, doing this and that and the third, but I was like, you know, I was in the music so heavy, I would always be trying to find like rare shit, instrumentals, you know.
So,
and I would be selling CDs to folks, or even like fill up their hard drive or phone or whatever. I'd fucking fill up their phone and shit for like $20 or some shit.
So you're like the kid now who always has the leaks in his phone and sells them. Sells the Google Drives. You know what I'm saying?
I bet. Yeah, that's what's up.
Because now it's like Google Drive files.
I could do that.
Get started business, because there's like there's some Instagram pages devoted to that. And it's like, whoa, like, okay.
I bet, man.
All right. Let's go to some different territory. What non-rap genres are you a fan of?
Oh yeah, that's easy, bro. Like I said earlier, I'm into like female singers and shit. So, R&B, alternative, um, even like No Doubt, Mariah Carey type shit.
No doubt. Yes.
Yeah, that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause you got to take a break from rap, man. You got to. When you make it yourself, you can't just sit there. I used to think that way, but you'll miss out on a lot of different melodies, the way people construct hooks, verses,
Yeah.
bridges, all these different elements, different, and then again, production. A lot of my favorite producers end up working with R&B artists, blah blah blah.
Or sample them. Like I was, Drag of Doom Shop. He sampled a Spice Girls song for Soul's A. I was like, what?
Right, and that's what I'm listening for too, because I have Cisco literally, and probably like 100 other producers. Yo, you hear this? Flip this, like, because I gotta have it sometimes. I'm addicted to that shit.
Yeah. What's the most obscure sample that you've ever done? Like, what's the most thing where people were surprised that you asked to do that?
Oh, probably every other damn thing. I mean, I always hit them with crazy Japanese like shit from old soundtracks back in the 80s, or even like um, old movies. Um, a lot of crazy video game shit from back in the days.
That's dope.
Shit that much, like, I never go for the obvious because that's overdone. Like, so I go for really obscure shit that's more personal, because like only I would know what that means to me or whatever, and I try to portray that shit.
Yeah, yeah. So I think you brought up movies, and I have this awesome question prepared for you.
What up?
Let's say you're approached to do a sequel or remake soundtrack for like one of your favorite series, and you're able to organize what producers could be on it. It could be an action franchise or a horror franchise. What franchise or movie would you like do the soundtrack for the sequel or remake of it?
Damn, that's a good question, because that is something I've always wanted to do. Is because I respect like people like Diddy, Khaled, all that bring artists together for compilations, mixtapes type stuff.
Yeah.
Soundtracks is like the ultimate form, like the Black Panther soundtrack. Shit like that
Yes.
is amazing. And
For
like,
sure, for sure. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, um, damn. See, depends on how much money. If you got the budget, a mainstream soundtrack would be one thing, because that's more easier for mainstream. But if it was gonna be underground shit, yeah. What series?
Yeah, it could be a Netflix show too.
Damn, man, they had there was some shit on MTV back in the days, which was like a martial arts film, but it had a bunch of rappers playing the voiceovers.
Oh yes. I forget what that was called, but
Something like that, bro. And all those people would be featured on the soundtrack as well. Like something like that, bro. Like, because
who do you
that's
think
on.
would do a voice a really good cartoon character that's in Schema?
Oh, Nem. Recently, and even back in the days, I've been sleeping, but I've just been like lately. I've been talking to them because he's about to. We're about to shoot some videos. We're about to finally meet in person. Um,
You never met him?
uh, nah, man, he's been in Florida, and I'm on the West Coast, so it's
Oh,
been it's been yeah. There was only one time we could have met, but he was in Brazil when we went through Florida on the Doubt Me Now tour with Jay Green and Omen.
oh word.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, Nem does crazy voices. I could do some voices. I'm sure there's some other, but yeah, Nem does some good voice. He did like he wants to do skits like a lot, and I respect that, because that is a big part of like '90s albums that folks really don't take the time to do, the intros, the skits, all
Yeah.
that shit. That shit's entertaining when you listen to an album from start to finish. I know people
Like
skip.
damn, it feels good to be a Schema, right? The
Yeah,
introduction.
it's like a story. Meeting Dre, doing it. That shit was original as fuck. That shit, yeah.
And you were on that. You were on that. You were on a song on that. Was that just all done through email and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think we did 2 or 3 songs. I know 2 for sure.
I got the CD right here, bro. I could.
Yeah, damn it feel summer, the summer, and damn it feels good to be a Schema, the main cut. Uh,
Yeah.
thing is, he had that artwork done by somebody original, and then my girl does graphic work, so she colored that. and she was in Schema for a short time at the beginning because we didn't have a lot of graphic artists, and me and him just started. Yeah, that's the one. I got my copy somewhere. I just moved not that long ago, so it's in a
Dude,
box
this
still.
CD is insane, dude.
Yeah, no, he put a lot of work into that. Them C to 6.
And the thank you thing, that's insane. He's got Ziploc on there. That's my guy. That's
Ziploc.
My guy.
Shout out Ziploc, man. I watched his episode, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Like, appreciate you trying to calm that situation. Shouts out to Ziploc. Hope he's doing all right. Nobody hates him, bro.
Because I'm making music with him in another music collective I started. I go under a different name. And what I've been trying to do.
Cool, man. Ziploc, you know what I'm saying? When Ziploc is doing his thing and he's focused and he's not like going, too deep into certain things, he's got a lot of great ideas. He's got a lot of great ideas. He's imaginative. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. I know he gave me a shout out on one of your episodes and stuff. He also said a lot of crazy stuff, but we ain't gonna get into that. Just know that I know. You know what I'm saying? But we all good.
Yeah, I just I see, like, I just want to get him organized and get him to deliver some good verses, get him to get the proper mixing, because I just see like a lot of real potential in him, and I don't know a lot about rapping, but I do know how to I do know how to motivate people, and I am gonna get like my own little tape going on with my production as well as other people. So I know we got Eamon is gonna be on it, so we got a lot of other different artists that will be on that tape. But let's talk about Kold-Blooded more, because it's a Kold-Blooded interview, you know what I'm saying? But so what could you say about like future Schema tapes or projects? Like, when's the next one gonna release, or is there just so much prepared and it's like still being calculated?
That normally comes from up top, you know what I'm saying? That's on the man Jay when the next like posse. But we're hoping for soon, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, we had a lot of songs that we've been working on. We're just trying to get people familiar with a lot of people, you know what I mean? We're also we're waiting on tour time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude. I think as soon as The Weeknd posted his tour dates, I feel like everybody else started like I'm not saying you or was inspired by The Weeknd. I'm not saying that, but you know what I mean? How like recently in general, a lot of artists have been posting a lot of tour dates. Like when's?
Well, yeah, because we had stuff set up before it all got shut down, and then it's like once you get the word that venues are starting to open back up, then you got to see, are they going to honor those same dates since it's been like exactly a year later type shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
folks is getting in. Folks is I'm sure the market is going to flood up. Because from the mainstream all the way to the underground, bro. Yeah. But yeah, we got a lot in the works, man. I got a EP I'm working on with Jay. EPs I'm working on with like half of the posse. I got a whole album with Cisco.
Oh, that's a collaboration album with Cisco, right? Is it gonna be rapping? Is he gonna be rapping on it, or is it just his production?
Oh yeah, it's me and him, and he did a lot of the beats on it, and then I got some guest producers on there because I'm not trying to make Cisco. He's already done so many beats for me. And a lot of producers really don't rap over their own beats a lot, or at least they don't want to unless they are doing like a certain project. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some like extra calculated project. Yeah. They just much rather, because like when you send that email, it's like this moment. It's like these 3 hours of my time has been condensed into one file. And now I'm getting this pigeon to, fly it over there. And it's a beautiful moment.
A big thing we want to do probably before that album is fully like finished, because the songs are done. But I think what we're going to do is try to get some more stuff in person when we can. Because the last project I did that I just released, -13, Book 2.
Yeah.
Half of that was done in person, and that vibe, that's definitely something I want to do more with Schema Posse. You know what I'm saying? Because that's more of like the home team.
Well, it's like you want more experiences like the homecoming experience. That sounds like a beautiful moment,
right?
And you'd love to. I'd assume you'd love to replicate that in a beautiful, more advanced way because of the growth you've
Right.
had in the career and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So I want to go back to like before Schema. What was your like music like before Schema? Like way before. Not don't talk about like how Schema was formed, but like
Yeah.
was it sort of like did you feel a bit and if this is a bit too you know out there, like would you feel a bit lonely when you weren't in a music group in terms of like you making music?
Uh, kind of. I mean, I had other groups of friends that we were making like music. That's probably why I was keen to being in a collective because I had been working with people probably since I started making music. But I'd say the kind of music I made before Schema was, like I said, more of like tight beats, type more of a mainstream, trying to get kind of
Jalo
like
beats you had on a project.
yeah, well, like not even that. I would still try to just find like the kind of producers I like, but the like more mainstream names, Timbaland, Neptunes, but still like have that dark sound, like because I was trying to show them I could do both, like
Yeah.
kind of real. It's, like you said, it's a rabbit hole. I've got stuff I put up on YouTube, Bandcamp. I've deleted stuff. Stuff ended up on other random websites. Shit I thought was trash. Some people was like, "Oh, I remember this." Like, man, like I think you can go as far back as like Dat Piff 2011, probably. I don't know.
Oh man, I'm gonna do some research,
maybe,
man.
maybe I
Maybe
don't
I'll,
know. I fucking
maybe you have to go back and delete it as before I end this interview. Maybe if you
nah.
get that
I
answer.
don't care. I look back. I listen to old shit all the time. I like hearing demos and stuff. I might remake a lot of stuff at some point over new beats or something. I don't know.
I mean, that's what Jay Green did with the fuck mainstream codeine funk. Like he did a remastered version, which is real
Mm.
dope. But there was a couple of tracks where I was like, hey, why wasn't the Denzel Curry one on there? But I understand since Denzel was on a giant ass label.
Yeah, that politics just sucks. It was a lot different in the SoundCloud, YouTube kind of like before a lot of shit changed. And then, the last thing you want to do is get copyright strikes and have your channel fucked up and all that shit.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like,
But sometimes it's not even then. Like in some cases, it's like an automated thing, and then you got to go through steps to fix that shit. It's a headache
these
sometimes,
damn
bro.
YouTube robots.
Right.
Like Nemesis, he can't even upload anything to NemTV, or he can upload things to NemTV, but he can't get monetized because he once put in a video, if you click on the ads, then I get more ad revenue. So it's like, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it's just like looking back at Raider Clan, that was like so influential, and like
Hell yeah.
do you think like without Raider Clan there would be like this amount of sub like collectives built off of it or anything? Would there be a Schema? Would there be a Sesh Hollow Water Boys? Would there be a Passion Players? Or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a hard one to answer. I mean, probably in some shape or form because I mean the influence comes from like No Limit, Cash Money, Wu Tang. So I'm sure someone would have come along, but when it comes to like that specific Odd Future, ASAP, Raider Clan, that shit changed shit like for especially for the do it yourself independent like culture.
Yeah,
Like
even though I don't understand how Odd Future is that big, I do respect how each member have sort of stayed together, and they haven't
just
like.
early on, man, the shit that Tyler was doing was really like I gotta give it to him, bro. Like he sounded like MF Doom. He fucking the darkness was on par with like some Eminem,
I like the
horrorcore type.
earlier Tyler the
Like
Creator,
yeah,
but like
that's
I
what I'm
just
saying.
don't.
But like the
Yeah,
do-it-yourself websites, the do-it-yourself movement, the large collective, who's in Odd Future, who's not in Odd Future, that kind of shit. And then if you dug deep enough, you start hearing about ASAP and Raider Clan and all that shit. And that's like another big ass just list of all these dope artists that worked with this and this. And I think that's where SoundCloud and everything, like you met a
yeah,
lot of creatives, a lot of people with the similar goals, visions, artworks. And it was the man from that's why everybody, oh, I want to go back. I want to go back because when it was new, so many people were coming together. And then Raider Clan specifically, when people broke off, you got to give it to Bones. You got to give it to Xavier Wolf. You got to give it to Jay Green. You got to give it to Denzel. You got to give it to a lot of those guys.
Slim Gorilla.
Yeah, but I'm saying they started these huge movements literally within months, and shows were getting packed out and blah. And I'm saying that all came from, like, you know, under that Raider Clan thing. Like,
yeah. And that's just like hella like inspiring to like anybody that's a creator, is how quickly you can make something happen. If you can
right,
manifest that, like, you can really manifest that.
And where the proof too, you know what I'm saying? Jay Green, he's on there as a producer. He drops tracks, he's working with all them, then he starts his own thing. Next thing you know, we're branching out. We're doing our thing. We're doing shows. We're all, but you know what I'm saying? It's like all that shit goes back, bro. That shit is sick.
Yeah. For sure, but I think I've always sort of thought of this comparison, and I'm really good at make comparisons, but I want to know your take on this one. This is a perfect moment. So since you were sort of a part of the whole, you know, SoundCloud rap movement, and how everything, you got to see a lot of people's careers just boom, go off, you know, go crazy. Right. I've compared SoundCloud rap to independent filmmaking of the 90s. Do you think that's a good comparison?
I guess I'm not in a film like that, but I'm saying anytime it's independent, you just got a certain originality to it. Even in the flaws, you're gonna have, like, if they're consistent flaws, or even it's something you could see the growth when they start outgrowing those flaws, when they start, you know, or even the certain concepts that they're not under any sort of pressure to make art for any other reason than just to make it.
Like, yeah, it's like, I'm just saying, because, like, you know, Robert Rodriguez, he made that one film for $7,000, and then it ended up making $2 million when he sold it to Columbia. You know, that type of mentality. Or Quentin Tarantino, his first film, like, had like made like a couple million at the box office, and it was like real, like, shot in like a warehouse and stuff like that. And that's just a comparison I thought of. But the whole, like, lack of pressure, do you think that you make better music when you don't have pressure?
It's the type of music, you know, like I probably make less, like, the more laid back, more feel good, more like kind of, you know, just kind of vibed out rhythms type shit when I'm not under pressure. But when you're under pressure for any reason, whether it just be competitiveness, or you're just trying to go in because the beat pushes you, or you're trying to meet deadlines or something like that, I'd say a lot of those verses come out way harder.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
All right, I think I can have like one more question, and then we'll wrap it up. What or who makes you motivated and keeps you motivated?
And just everybody around me that keeps supporting Schema, freaking doing shows. Just, I don't know, everything keeps me going, man. Like the music itself. Every day I wake up, if I hear a new beat in my inbox, or I get like a comment or somebody saying, "Hey, your music changed my life," and that's what just always inspires me to just keep doing what I'm doing. Like, plus I'm always out to see everybody get theirs too, man. You know, I got reputation for out here trying to help people. That's what Schema's really about. You know what I'm saying? Jay Green helped us. We help other people. We help each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's dope. And thanks for joining the show, man. This is a good one. I feel like it was real historic. You know what I'm saying? I learned a lot from this, and especially just here. Thank you for just telling me like the whole homecoming story. That was just like a crazy story, because like I think you're on the top 3 of the verses on that, because there's like about 7 or 8 on them. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I'm glad. Like I said, there's a lot of misconceptions about that track. And anytime, like, I don't know, man. I think I scare most folks when they see me in person, because, like you said, I've been there, I seen it, and I ain't got nothing to say but the truth. You know, a lot of people, they have their own versions of this and that, but I'm all about the music at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And so I would love to tell stories like that. I could go on forever talking about how this song was made, that song. You know what I mean? Like, because that's what it's really all about. I wish we would have recorded the recording process. You know what I mean? Like, those are moments that, like, once they happen so quick, you're like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, Pete. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit, you didn't know in the moment what that, we just thought it was another song. You know what I'm saying? We thought it was crazy that we had so many people, you know? But yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, man. Thanks for all the support, bro.
Yeah. Links in the description to his social media and his music and all of that, and SoundCloud and all of that. And thanks for joining. Goodbye.